Hey friends, you're watching BrainStormAcres. I'm Henry.
And I'm Irene.
We're going to do an experimental batch of relish this morning.
We're only going to do a half a batch because I got my doubts. I don't have my doubts about the ingredients. I have my doubts about the process. But Henry's confident, so.
We'll see.
He's the one who's got to eat it, not me.
Looks fine to me. What we're going to be doing is I'm going to be cutting up some cucumbers into small pieces so that Irene can try processing them in the food processor. I've done an experimental batch and it's working okay. We'll see if these smaller pieces do better. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and get some of these other cucumbers prepared. If this doesn't work, then we'll just be cutting these up by hand. I think we're just going to give that up and go ahead and do it by hand.
Yeah, well, I think it's going to be slop if we don't. I mean, we don't have pigs, so it doesn't make any sense to make pig slop. To me, a lot of food processors are just a giant advertisement for dishwashing detergent. Blenders are good for pina coladas, things made with Bacardi.
Fruity rum drinks, in other words.
Fruity rum drinks, yeah. Smoothies. But yeah, there's things you shouldn't do with them.
I think grab another cutting board.
Cucumber. Boing. So I have a question for you, because you're the relish eater, not me.
I have an answer.
Is that small enough?
Smaller. About half that size, maybe.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. What's a good way to do this?
What I'm doing is I started with some larger slices and then I decided to go to thin slices that are about, I'll show you how thick they are.
Yeah, well, I just went to some that are about, yeah. And then I could do a rough chop on them, and it should come out okay.
This is the first time we've made relish, I think.
Yeah, I don't normally bother. I normally make pickles and different kinds of pickles, all different kinds. But and you eat relish, we just normally buy it. And I do not eat relish because I do not care for it. Sam, I am.
Well, you don't generally like pickles, right?
That's right. I generally do not like pickles.
And you generally do not like cucumbers.
Yes. I will tolerate their existence. That's about as far as it goes. There are certain things like tzatziki and stuff like that that I can tolerate cucumbers in, but I usually go for the sauce and skip as much of the cucumber part as I can.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. No, I have no problem making them. I just don't want to eat them. When the Cuisine Arts was so fancifully wonderful years ago, that was always totally outside of our budget. And we had a knockoff version. And it was okay, and we used it sometimes. I mean, generally speaking, to me, unless you're doing a lot of processing, if you're any decent with a knife, you could get stuff done faster with a knife, more accurately, and have a lot less cleanup than if you're getting all kinds of stuff dirty. So we kind of got out of the hang of it, and then when our old knockoff died, we never replaced it. The basic problem with getting all the fancy food processors and stuff is you have to ask yourself, how often do you use them? You know, do you have room in your kitchen for another 27 specialty tools? I'm kind of with Alton Brown on that one. If it's too much of a specialty tool, It's got to be something really special, like the ice cream maker. That's worth owning. That's worth finding space for.
That's not a specialty tool.
Yeah, right.
That's a necessity.
That's a necessity.
Yeah, this is going to be a long, boring show.
I don't know. We could do Q&A while we're talking, while we're chopping.
We could. What questions do you think about?
What questions do I think about? Well, I can tell you what I'm thinking about right now. Not while chopping. I'm trying to just like keep my fingers out of the way. That's about it. But my big thing right now is what veggie seeds I'm going to start and when and where. I was reading an article this morning about using bottom heat to start vegetables.
Was that one in Garden Gate?
Yeah, that one is in Garden Gate. And I was sort of surprised to see it there. They've gotten a lot more technical recently, a lot less fluffy, which is kind of cool because, I mean, I enjoy their fluffy stuff, but, you know, how many shade gardens do you want to look at? I mean, there is no such... There is no shade garden here. I mean, you'd have to put up shade. We have a section strip along the north side of the house where we can grow things that will tolerate shade or that will tolerate some sun or whatever. But that's not a shade garden by most people's standards. Most things like hostas and stuff that love shade would just roast on the north side of the house here. And there is no shade. I mean, you know, the fact is we don't have any large overbearing trees.
I think I'm going to call a halt here pretty quick. I think there's enough relish made there to last for a reasonable amount of time.
Okay.
So I'll go through and see how many of these cucumbers I already cut the ends off of, and we'll finish those.
We can also use those for the other kind of relish we were talking about making.
That'd be a good idea.
Because that involves different things. That's got peppers in it and all that stuff. But that's got to be made this afternoon because...
Has to set for 12 hours.
Yeah, 12 to...
Minimum 12 hours.
18 hours. And I'm like, well, you know, that means it's got to be done in the afternoon so that you can get to it the next day, is what it comes down to.
Yeah, I'm not so much on doing something at 6 o'clock in the morning so that then we get to do the processing.
No, I don't think so. I got other things to do today. Got a newsletter to do today, got seeds to plant, all kinds of other stuff. And, you know, I want to make sure we do a good job on it, so that means the timing does have to be right, but the whole 12 to 18 hours, I'm like, really? Okay, that means you should, like, leave it overnight.
Well, that's the easiest way, because it works while you're asleep, and that's good.
Yeah, really.
Besides, I have more to get ready for the potential water solution.
Yes, that's true.
And that involves another trip to Williams.
Woohoo! What's in Williams that you need?
Oh, I need to take some things up there, and I need to go get a few fluids just in case.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
But I don't want to give it away. Not yet. I want to make sure it happens first.
Yeah, because we have Plan B if it doesn't.
And Plan C and
D and E and F and Q R S T U V W X Y Z.
no Plan Z allowed.
I'm a tinier chopper than you are. It's okay. It's your relish. If you want lumpy relish, you can have it.
Well, I let you do the fine stuff, and I did the rough stuff.
The rough stuff, huh?
The rough stuff. That's a pretty nice relish mix. That's about the way I wanted it.
Okay, cool. I tried to make it small but not mushy, and I was not allowing anything big to go through like this. So that would get chopped into at least 4 pieces.
I'm just checking to make sure there's no...
Trying to be very scientific about it. Messy.
She blinded me with science.
I blinded you with science. Boing.
And I say that if there's some bigger than preferred pieces in here, they're going to be just fine.
Well, you could also pick them out when we're doing the processing later the rest of the way. So what we need to do now is we need to stick them in there and put in a half a cup of salt and 2 teaspoons of turmeric. I have a thing of kosher salt.
So let's cut those ingredients in half because we have only about 4 pounds there.
Okay, so there's a 1/4 cup of salt container. Since they wanted a half a cup, you can do a 1/4 cup. And 1 teaspoon of turmeric.
Okay, it's 1/4 cup of salt.
Yes, 1/4 cup of salt. Because we're going to pour, it says place chopped cucumbers in a bowl, sprinkle with salt and turmeric. Then we're going to pour water over the cucumbers and let it stand for 2 hours.
Good shot.
Does that get mixed or they just put water?
It says just, well, it's probably, you know, if you had a lump or something, but this is pretty well. It doesn't say mix, I think. It says finely chop cucumbers in a food processor or a food grinder, place chopped cucumbers in a bowl, sprinkle with salt and turmeric, pour water over cucumbers, let stand for 2 hours. It says a quart of water, so I would use 2 cups of water. And I would use water from the
You gonna use a Berkey?
Berkey, yep. And this conveniently is a 2-cup measure, so. Okay, 2 cups of water.
Pour over my hand. Thank you. Now let's get up on the sides. Perfect.
And then let stand for 2 hours.
I think I'll cover it up.
Oh, definitely. We have too many flies in here this morning.
Well, we had a lot of cucumber beetles in here this morning.
I know. I can see a couple of cucumber beetles. The nice thing about the cucumber beetles is they're stupid and they're slow. So you can smash them easy. The flies are a little more difficult sometimes, but I've already killed a stack, so. Okay, do you want some clingy wrap sort of stuff?
Yeah. Okay, you go ahead and cover that up.
Yep, I'm working on it. This will probably need 2 widths because it doesn't have some super wide. Boink. Yeah. This is a big fat bowl, so. Zap. Okay. Ta-da! Now the little voice will come in and say, 2 hours later. So now this beast sits here for 2 hours. And I vote that we take care of some of the other things we need to take care of. So if you're doing something that, I mean, I frequently will set my phone, but you know, some things are only minutes, and that's kind of useless because things take hours.
They do.
Okay.
Well, so far, so good. 2 hours can go pretty quick, but it's going to go.
Right. We have green beans to blanch and freeze, and we have lots and lots and lots and lots of tomato sauce to make.
I guess we know what we're doing.
Yeah, it's true. Oh, and then we've got another batch of relish to make this afternoon.
Yum. Okay.